This is one of the most handy things you can have in a shop right there. I just set this up. I picked this bin up at an auction up in Hillsdale. Their weekly auction up there on Saturday morning. And got most of the stuff that I need here in inventory, from a 1/4 inch all the way to 3/4, although my 3/4 selection is incredibly limited right now. I got one bolt shaft, but that's fixing to change. So I'm buying this stuff up at Tractor Supply in bulk, and it's like $1.60 a pound bulk. So you know, most mechanics like myself that are working on cars and trucks and small equipment, you're going to want a selection between 3/8 and 1/2 inch and a little bit of everything. And basically, you know, nuts, lock washers, flat washers. You want 1-inch bolts with a completely threaded shank. You know, no flat spot to the shank. You're going to need those. And then you're going to need some longer ones. Getting down there, you know, to work on different things. I got them all the way, or at least I'm going to be supplying all the way to 6 inches on these jokers here. Because there's always a use for it. Of course, you need 5/16 and 1/4 inch as well, because, you know, there's a lot of little nitpicking stuff that take those things. When you get into 1/4 inch, probably the most useful bolt that you can have is the 1-inch threaded shank. I've got a couple of oddballs here, you know. A long one like that, sometimes you can use these for like a battery bracket for a lawnmower, a battery retainer bracket. But you got to have a good assortment. I know a lot of people, they like to just grab like an old cookie tin from Christmas and throw everything in it all together and call it their nut and bolt tray. But you know, you'll spend 20 minutes looking for an item, you know, a 2-cent item, and it's just not very smart. This here makes it real easy, real fast. And with the price of nuts and bolts up at Tractor Supply, you could completely equip this thing, I mean, till it's almost running over for $250. So I got to get a few extra items for it, of course, to, you know, bring her up to snuff. I'm going to go up to 3/4 here. I'm up to 5/8 so far, but I'll go up to 3/4 and fill all those bins, and that'll be the end of it. But I'll tell you, that that assortment right there, it's a freaking godsend. When you're building things and when you're working on older stuff, you know, when you're pulling these old bolts and nuts off that, you know, are corroded, or, you know, you're going to snap a couple coming off of exhaust manifold or whatever, to have something like this on hand, it'll save you a lot of money in the long run for a small initial investment. So there it is, the old bolt bin over at Honky Tonk Manor.